I am not going down that path, that what you just said, but I appreciate it. First and foremost, got to give Penn State a lot of credit. Playoff team, top 4 team, slated to be in the college football playoff, deservingly so. James Franklin is one of the best football coaches in the country, one of my really good friends. He's got a really good football team. We knew that we had to be able to play our style of football. There was nothing different about it. It had to be us. We didn't have to do anything different. We just had to be able to do it better than we did the week before. I know that sounds cliche and coach speak and gimmicky, but at the end of the day, it's really not. It's just how you win football games. Since January, we've been talking about this word pressure, pressure, pressure. And all the players wrote down on a piece of coal last night, which signified carbon, what pressure has taught them since January. And they put it all in this big bucket. And overnight, it turned to this diamond. I don't know if it turned that fast, but we said it did. And that's what they are. They're diamonds. When everybody says they can't do something, when everybody says we haven't played anybody, when everybody says all that, that's great. And look, respectfully so. I mean, I appreciate all of your jobs just like you appreciate everybody else's jobs. You have a job to do. I don't blame you for saying that or seeing that. But what they did tonight was really special. And it shows the culture, it shows the character, it shows their charisma, it shows their ability to overcome, and it showed what they've learned. We had a lot of close games at the beginning of the year, and you're like, why are these games so close? Why are these games so close? That's why. Because this one was close against the 4th-ranked team in America. People ask me where we think we should be ranked. We're 1-0 in the Penn State season. That's all we care about. That's all we care about. We wanted to be 1-0. We haven't talked about the rankings much. We're not sitting here saying we should be upset by them or proud of them or celebrate them. It's more of just we wanted to be 1-0. So many individual performances that we'll talk about here in a second, but first and foremost, we gave a game ball out in the locker room to the state of Minnesota. And I say that because I gave it to President Gable, and hopefully she can pass it on to the governor from our team. We're one Minnesota. You know, before the game, I'm getting text messages from Saunders. Saunders wore maroon yesterday in his game. That's special. And when you're starting to see how this whole thing can really work in this whole Twin Cities area, that's what we're talking about. But our fans were unbelievable today. That's the best college football environment I've ever played in as a head football coach. Because it was at home, and it was for us. It was marooned out, and those gold towels were everywhere. And our fans didn't sit down. They stood up. They made noise. They made it difficult for Penn State. And I'm just so proud to be a Gopher. And I speak for our whole team when I say that. But our crowd, our band, you got to give credit to our administration, Mike Erzbicki, for what he was able to do to put together, to sell the stadium out. But this is what we can become. You know, we got to let go of, I'm sure there were some people on the final drive said, oh, here we go again. Got to let go of all that. 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. We got to change at some point. I think this team's proven that as we continue to go into the future, we don't have to keep saying things like that. Does that mean you're going to win them all? No. It doesn't mean that. But they're doing a lot of special things that you can keep building on to make your culture stronger and your program stronger and make it more of a national brand. I'm so proud of our coaches. I'm so proud of our administration, so proud of our players. They just have incredible resolve. Their response mechanism. Our culture is what it is. It's people, it's vision, it's work, it's result, and response. That's what it is, and they respond like no other team I've ever seen. And they deserve all the credit. I just am lucky enough to talk to you at the end of the game. That's basically all I do. So, very proud of them. Historic win for our program in this year. And we got the bell back. And I think that got lost in the mix. Somehow, some way, they were like, where's the bell? They asked me at one point. Don't ask me. And but I'm very proud. But you got to give Penn State a lot of credit. That's a really good football team. And we're humble, we're hungry, and we'll just continue to change our best. With that, open up for questions.
Hey.
Hi.
You think a quarterback ever had a better day than Morgan? And did you think you could pass against Penn State the way you did?
Well, first of all, Tanner Morgan, we've talked since day one. He's a winner. Intangibles through the roof. A guy that you want to marry your daughter. He is. I mean, I have a 6- and 5-year-old, so definitely not mine. But somebody else's daughters. But I will say that he's special. He's special. Again, he's 2-star and a half, maybe 3-star. Some people called in, maybe got him a 4-star one day, somebody in his town. But he knows how to take programs from where they are and take them to where they always dreamed of being. He's a winner. And he was 20 of 22. You've seen him do it against Purdue. We knew we were going to have to throw the football. Yeah, you saw their D-line. You saw what they looked like. They're tough, they're long, they're strong. We knew we were going to have to mix it up. I thought Kirk Shiraka called an unbelievable game. Unbelievable. Flawless. We have one bad play, we fumble. If we don't fumble, I think it's not as close as that. But we do. But this team came back and responded. But Kirk Shiraka was he put together the most unbelievable game plan for the situation. It was right up Kirk's alley. Because here's what we did. Last Wednesday, we all left for recruiting. Well, Kirk didn't. Kirk was by himself. He's in his element. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not sure if he went home, but he was by himself. And that's Kirk. Kirk loves to be by himself. He got more work done than anybody in the entire building, probably for the last 6 months, by himself. He just loves that. He loves sitting in his hole watching film, and it showed. I thought our coaches coached really hard today. We had to find a way to, manage the clock the best we possibly could, especially towards the end. We had to make some decisions to be able to find a way to go get a first down. And we knew if we just run it, burn their timeouts, we didn't have a shot. So we had to be able to find a way to get a first down. But players made big-time plays. Really proud of them. And Tanner Morgan's one of them. Next question.
Did you get an interception and a touchdown drive right off the start? What does it say about this team being ready for this moment?
They're ready to play. We talked about them being the reason. Our leadership council meeting this week was about the reason. Players are the reason. Coaches get a lot of credit, but players are the reason. You have to be responsible enough and confident enough that when the catch has to be made, the interception has to be made, the gap has to be filled, that you're going to be the reason that we either have success or you're going to have to be the reason why we fail. And you got to be able to handle that responsibility. So we showed them this compilation of all these things that have happened over the course of sports, that people were the reason they won, and they were the reason they failed. But there was a fail and a succeed on either side. And we studied that, and we talked about we need to be the reason. And it starts with our leaders. And our leaders tonight were the reason. Antoine Winfield Jr., Jordan Howden. You look at Tanner Morgan, Rashad Bateman, Tyler Johnson, Rodney Smith. Our whole O-line were captains this week. All 6 of them. Because they deserve it. They are. They're captains. They're leaders of this football team. And we got to continue to develop that leadership as we keep going forward.
Speaking of your O-line, you've talked all week about their defensive front. Talk about how your O-line played today.
Well, I thought that, we have 2 sacks, or we had 1 sack. One, and it was kind of a great decision by Tanner to kind of eat that one and go down. I thought we did a tremendous job in pass protection, but it goes more of, those guys working really hard. But it goes back to the game plan. It goes back to Brian Callahan, Kirk Shiraka, Kenny Burns, Clay Patterson talking about protection. The ball had to get out of our hand. Move the pocket if we possibly could, but we had to get the ball down the field, then we had to mix it with the run game and the RPO game. And people talk about how simple we are. We are. I'm not sure how to answer that question. People ask me all the time, "You're simple, aren't you?" I say, yes. Why? I don't know how to answer that question. We're just us. And we find ways to mix it up. I think our offensive staff has a great ability to be able to, if you're going to do A, we're going to do B, you're going to do B, we're going to do C, and then continue to have answers for things. And that's why you spend 70 hours a week game planning. I thought our defensive staff did a tremendous job, too, because they are very talented. I mean very talented on offense. Our quarterback's a really good player. KJ's special. He made huge plays tonight. And then I'm telling you, their tight ends are special players.
Coach, I think they were inside the 5 3 times and you stopped them. Can you talk about that?
It's a mentality. We talk about keeping people out. We don't have this bend, don't break mentality. I don't believe in that. I don't want to bend at all, right? I don't want to bend or break. I just want to stop them, right? I want to stop them. Hold them to field goals the best we possibly can. And that's where I think our team's playing the best right now when we get inside the green zone. We call it the green zone, you call it the red zone. We're coming away with points, and we're stopping people and giving them the most limited amount of points as they possibly can. We stopped them on 4th down. I thought that was critical. They were 1 of 2. That last 4th down was a critical stop. We got to continue to get better, though. That's one thing I love about this football team. We got a long way to go.
Why switch kickers to Gopher, and then what gave you the confidence that you could come into such a big game like this?
Well, it's not. Lance had a little bit of a health issue that we were dealing with, but probably could have went. But I thought Brock had a tremendous week of practice, and I figured same thing with Kamal. Kamal's ready to go, but he got ready to go today. And there's no way Mike Sipniak, our trainer, and me can look him in the eye and say, you have not practiced the majority of the week, and you'd be ready to play right now. It's too much football down the road, not only for his college career but his NFL career. I'll never put a kid in jeopardy like that ever. And I know it hurt him, and it devastated Kamal. I mean, you're looking at your own son telling him he can't play. It's like telling your son he can't go outside and play. You got to stay in, time for dinner and then go to bed. And he's looking at you like, he's got tears in his eyes. But I told him one day you'll understand. In terms of Brock, all the confidence in the world. He came out there and true pro. I mean, I believe in our team. I want to tell you, I believe in them. And we're going to have success with me believing them, and we could fail with me believing them. But I'm going to believe in our players. I'm going to believe in our kids. I'm going to believe in what they do and how they do it.
Along that line, 9-0, you've been there before, but I think it's, 115 years since that's happened here. I know you look one game at a time. Did you think at the beginning of this year that 9-0 was a realistic possibility?
Inside our walls, yes. I don't think we shared that with you because you would have thought we're crazy. We talked about that inside our walls in January. And we talk about it in a very unique way. We talk about it through our cultural perspective of what we need to do for that to happen. The players have to say they want that to happen. Then they have to commit to that happening, which is a very difficult process because everything they've done this entire offseason has been harder and also smarter. I got to give a lot of credit to Dr. Michael Howell from the University of Minnesota, our sleep doctor that's right here on campus. We thought we had an advantage because we practice in the mornings. And we have these real LED type lights all over our facility that wake you up faster to get your circadian rhythm going faster. Again, I taught 6th grade social studies. But it was pretty special for him to invest the time he did to meet with our players and talk about sleep patterns. And I thought the health and wellness week last week really paid off mentally, physically, and emotionally, and I thought our players were ready to play. This team is ready to play no matter what, and they get prepared, and they're professional about it.
TJ, how much has the connectivity of this group fueled their success?
Well, it's everything. Connectivity is everything on a team. You're either a team or a group. You get to decide which one you're going to be, right? We're a true team. This is one of the best teams I've ever coached. One of two teams that I could consider the greatest team I've ever coached as a head coach because they are connected. They love each other. Love is a word we throw around all the time. Love is sacrifice. Forget about me, I love you, the family theory. And they truly believe that. There's a lot of people that say those things but don't really mean it. Like they truly invest in that, which is very difficult because, as Heather always tells me, the hard part about being the standard, you're the standard all the time. And you can never not be the standard. And I think with young people, they always want to break, they always want to rest, they always want to be comfortable, and you're fighting human nature all the time. But this team is very, 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 very close. And I'm proud of them for that. There's so many special moments that have happened this year. And players deserve a lot of credit. I mean, you look at Braylon Oliver and Mariano Sori-Marin come in for Kamal Martin. We're not even at full strength, and to do what they did defensively just shows we are that family room type defense that we talk about and that family type team.
They're supposed to have the best defensive line in the country. I kind of thought your offensive line played them pretty good.
Well, they do have a tremendous defensive line. You can't take that away from them. It's the biggest challenge we've had up to date on the defensive line. I respect them wholeheartedly. They play really hard. They're tough. They're long. They're strong and very fast and elusive. They can all rush the passer. They can all stop the run. They can do it all. But our team found a way to do what we do just a little bit better than what they do really well tonight. That's what that means. And that's why you play one game. You get one chance, and you have to find a way to be 1-0. And today we were better than Penn State.
Speaking of,
How often have you envisioned that scene at the end of the game with everyone on the field at that moment? How often have you seen that before today?
How much have I envisioned it or how much have I actually seen it?
How much have you envisioned that?
That's why you take a job. I've told Heather numerous times, and I remember taking the job here, and before we took the job, she looked at me and said, "You sure you want to do another year one?" Because at the time, there was a lot of chaos going on here. There was a boycott and all those other things, and you're like, do I really want to run into that fire? Because there's a certain amount of wins, yeah, and everybody's going to have the perception, but then there's this also divide. And that was the whole vision, to be able to have that field swarmed on a top 5 team in the country and to put us undefeated. And when everybody thought that, told me, don't take the job, My life is usually about don't do that, don't do that. Okay, I'll do that. And that sounds like a good job for me. And that was the vision. Now, there's a lot more we want to accomplish. That's not the end-all, be-all. But what I do want to do is raise the expectation of the University of Minnesota. This is about connecting people. There's going to be another coach after me. There were coaches before me. But the scene in the locker room of former players brought a tear to my eye. The Eric Deckers of the world. All those guys in that locker room, we've had 7 head coaches in around 14 years. It's hard to gain traction with former players. Everybody's connected to someone else, and we feel like I played for that guy. You played for our Minnesota. That's who you played for. And I just get to represent that. But part of the reason why we signed the contract was we want to bring everybody back. We want everybody to be like tonight every single game. We want all of our alums to feel at home here, not because of who you played for. This is your home. I'm just here to be able to do everything I can with the staff and with a group of men every single day to provide a culture that everybody can be a part of and everybody can row the boat and everybody can use that in their life. Come back here and then we can be able to, we're one now. And we can create some type of dynasty. You can create some type of cultural sustainability because your alums are the most important part of what you do. And that locker room was special because of that, because we connected people. And that's what wins like this do. Whoever you played for, you're still a Gopher. And I know I might be a little bit different, but I don't know how different I really am. I don't see what you see. But just maybe, our row the boat different might be the way. And maybe we're just ahead of the game. We got to think that way. Because the way we do it is so unique and so different, and it's not for everybody, and I get that. But let's step outside of our box. It's 2019. We're getting ready to go 2020. It's just different. And one thing I love about our program, our coaches, our administration, we evolve. United are we are one, our Minnesota, and we're going to push that forward. And I'm going to continue to push it forward. I couldn't be more proud of our players. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for covering us. Thank you for all the things you put in the paper, whether it's criticism or whether it's positive. You have a job to do, and I respect that wholeheartedly. You're teaching our young players about life, how to handle the adversity, how to handle the critics, how to handle the success. You're doing your job at an elite level. You are. Because you're shaping our young men of how to handle all that. And some people don't get the training like you do here at the University of Minnesota. Some places protect people or they protect the team. You take it for exactly what it's worth. And our players get to grow up in that. They get to see real-world articles and real-world opinions. And it means a lot to me. So thank you so much for helping our team grow up. We're all in it together somehow, some way. I'm thankful to be the head football coach here, but this is about the players. Today is about the University of Minnesota and every player here and every fan, and that's what it needs to be about. 1-0 Penn State season. Row the boat, Sky Go Gophers. Thanks.